Hey, Warriors fans. Today we are diving into some of the most critical updates surrounding Golden State and the moves they might be forced to make very soon. The season has already shown us the strengths and weaknesses of this roster, and with all the activity at the guard position, there are growing questions about balance and depth, especially as we look ahead to trade opportunities. Golden State is in a unique position where they are heavily loaded with guards, but the frontcourt depth remains a concern. Steph Curry, of course, remains the centerpiece of this team, leading the squad with his unmatched skill set. Alongside him, you have sharpshooters like Seth Curry, who is expected to officially rejoin the team this week. His ability to stretch the floor makes him an invaluable asset, particularly when combined with the versatility of players like Jimmy Butler at the forward spot and Jonathan Kuminga, who is gradually returning to full form. The Warriors roster has been built around dynamic perimeter play, with Buddy Hield, GP2, and other guard talents getting significant minutes. Yet, despite the wealth of talent at the backcourt, there's a glaring need for a reliable presence in the paint. Al Horford, when healthy, provides some interior stability, and Draymond Green continues to be one of the league's top defenders. But offensive consistency and size remain issues that need urgent attention. This imbalance is pushing management, especially Mike Dunleavy, toward making decisive moves sooner rather than later. One of the most interesting developments comes from the performance of L.J. Crier in the G League. Crier, a standout from Houston and Baylor during his college career, has consistently impressed with his scoring ability and long-range shooting. After an initial stint in the preseason where he showed flashes of brilliance, Crier was waived to make room for Seth Curry and ended up at the Santa Cruz Warriors. Since joining Santa Cruz, his impact has been undeniable. He is averaging 24.3 points per game while shooting 44% from the field and an impressive 41% from beyond the arc. These numbers are particularly noteworthy because they come against professional-level competition, demonstrating that Crier is more than capable of translating his college success to the professional ranks. Beyond just scoring, he has developed into a well-rounded contributor, showing growth in rebounding, playmaking, and defensive effort. His performance is putting pressure on Golden State's front office to consider how to integrate him into the main roster before another team takes notice. Essentially, Crier's emergence has created a scenario where the Warriors cannot afford to wait until the middle of January or the standard trade windows. The urgency is real. With so many guards already on the team and Kuminga's trade availability on the horizon, Golden State must act strategically to avoid roster congestion and maximize value. Meanwhile, other pieces of the roster are also in flux. De'Anthony Melton is making strides toward his return after undergoing surgery for a torn left ACL in early December of last year. His rehabilitation has gone well, with full participation in practice and scrimmages, and he is expected to join the active lineup during the upcoming road games. Adding Melton to the rotation further intensifies the guard-heavy nature of the squad, which underscores the need to balance the roster by finding quality options at the forward and center positions. While players like Kevin Looney can stretch the floor with occasional three-pointers and Horford can offer veteran leadership inside, the team has struggled to maintain consistent production in the paint. Rebounding and interior defense rank near the lower third of the league, making it difficult for Golden State to dominate games against stronger frontcourt teams. This is where trade decisions become not just strategic, but essential, as the Warriors aim to remain competitive in the Western Conference despite injuries and ongoing roster imbalances. The scheduling and matchups ahead amplify the urgency. The Warriors have several critical games coming up, including clashes with teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder, who have been remarkably strong this season, and other competitive squads such as the Sixers, Bulls, and Suns. Golden State has the talent to climb out of the play-in mix, but to do so, they cannot rely solely on perimeter shooting or guard-heavy rotations. Efficiency on both ends of the court, as well as balanced scoring and reliable rebounding, will be crucial. Buddy Hield, for instance, has shown inconsistency this season. While he is a key rotation piece, his scoring and defensive contributions have not consistently matched expectations, which puts additional pressure on the front office to make adjustments. Pairing emerging talents like LJ Crier with strategic trades could allow the Warriors to address these gaps while maintaining their competitive edge. In analyzing the roster further, it becomes clear that Golden State faces a delicate balancing act. They're stacked at guard, but underpowered at the center position. This imbalance is not just a theoretical problem. It has tangible implications for game strategy, rotation management, and playoff positioning. For example, Draymond Green often has to shift into unconventional roles, including minutes at center, which, while showcasing his versatility, does not fully compensate for the lack of size and scoring in the paint. The team's field goal percentage suffers, and while three-point shooting remains strong, it cannot completely offset deficiencies in rebounding and interior scoring. The coaching staff must navigate these challenges carefully, and Mike Dunleavy is now in a position where decisive action is necessary. Waiting for Jonathan Kuminga's trade availability is risky, as it could leave the Warriors vulnerable in the meantime, especially with opportunities to move up in the standings within reach. Furthermore, the G League performances highlight the importance of internal talent development and roster management. LJ Crier's dominance is a prime example of how overlooked players can become critical assets when given the right environment and opportunities. His shooting, playmaking, and overall efficiency suggest that he could have a meaningful role on the NBA roster sooner rather than later. Ignoring such talent would not only be a missed opportunity, but could allow other teams to capitalize on his abilities. This situation creates a scenario where proactive decisions are not just advisable, they are imperative. Golden State has the tools, the emerging talent, and the depth to make significant adjustments, but timing and execution will determine whether these moves translate into on-court success. Continuing with the Golden State Warriors situation, the upcoming weeks are set to be pivotal in determining how this team navigates its roster challenges and maximizes its potential. With the guard-heavy composition already causing strategic headaches, management has to carefully assess which players to keep, which roles to adjust, and where to add size and versatility. The combination of established stars, promising young players, and G League standouts like LJ Crier creates both opportunities and tough decisions. Every game, every practice, and every minute on the floor is a chance to evaluate talent and gauge how it fits in a Steve Kerr system. Golden State has always thrived on spacing, movement, and high-level shooting, but to remain competitive at the top of the Western Conference, they cannot rely solely on perimeter scoring. Interior presence, rebounding, and defensive consistency remain areas that require immediate attention. LJ Crier's continued excellence in Santa Cruz has only added urgency. Averaging over 24 points per game while shooting at elite efficiency in the G League signals that he is ready to contribute at the NBA level. His development into a complete player, improving as a rebounder and facilitator, demonstrates that he could fill multiple roles within the rotation. In many ways, his emergence mirrors the path of previous Golden State players who started in the G League and quickly became integral parts of the team. The challenge now is how to integrate him without creating logjams at the guard position, particularly as Seth Curry, GP2, and other key perimeter players occupy significant minutes. With DeAnthony Melton's return also on the horizon, the roster becomes even more crowded, and smart decisions are required to ensure that talent is not wasted or underutilized. On the front court, the lack of a reliable center continues to limit Golden State's ceiling. Kevin Looney provides solid minutes, but his offensive contributions are limited, and the team's spacing often demands that he stretch outside of his natural comfort zone. Al Horford, when healthy, adds veteran savvy and occasional scoring inside, but neither player fully addresses the gaps in rebounding, rim protection, and interior scoring. Draymond Green, despite being one of the league's best defenders, cannot single-handedly compensate for these deficiencies. As a result, the team's offensive sets often require guards to drive, kick, and shoot in ways that put enormous pressure on perimeter players to maintain efficiency. This structure works only when shots are falling consistently, which makes the integration of high-efficiency shooters like LJ Crier all the more vital. His ability to score at a high rate while spacing the floor could alleviate some of the pressure on Curry and others, giving the Warriors a more balanced attack. Looking ahead, the Warriors face a critical stretch of games that will test the team's resilience and highlight the need for roster adjustments. Matches against elite opponents, such as the Thunder, Sixers, and Bulls, will expose any lingering weaknesses and potentially dictate the urgency of trade or signing moves. Golden State cannot afford to enter this period with the current imbalance unchecked. Efficiency issues, particularly from players like Buddy Hield, whose shooting and defensive output have been inconsistent, further stress the necessity of recalibrating the rotation. The team must consider options that can provide immediate impact without sacrificing long-term flexibility. Trading some of the excess guard depth for a true center or forward capable of controlling the paint is not merely a preference. It has become a strategic imperative to remain in contention. The timing of these decisions is crucial. Waiting for Jonathan Kuminga's trade window in January could result in missed opportunities, especially if internal talents such as LJ Crier continue to draw attention from other teams. Golden State must act preemptively, weighing both the potential of its current roster and the immediate competitive landscape. The balance between leveraging existing talent, promoting promising players from the G League, and strategically acquiring frontcourt assets will define the Warriors' trajectory for the remainder of the season. These decisions will not only affect win-loss records, but also the team's ability to position itself as a serious playoff contender in a crowded Western Conference. Every game from this point forward matters, and the management's ability to make timely, impactful moves will directly influence whether the Warriors can capitalize on their guard-heavy depth while shoring up their frontcourt weaknesses. Moreover, the evolving dynamic of the roster presents both challenges and opportunities for coaching. Steve Kerr's system relies on rapid ball movement, floor spacing, and versatile lineups. Integrating LJ, Crier, D'Anthony Melton, and other emerging players requires careful planning to maintain cohesion while optimizing rotations. Kerr has experience navigating similar situations in past seasons, but the margin for error is thinner than ever. Adjustments must be made not only to address immediate deficiencies, but also to ensure long-term development of young talent and the sustainability of high-level performance throughout the season. The Warriors' management and coaching staff are under pressure to act decisively, balancing short-term gains with long-term growth. This is particularly true as the team approaches critical stretches where victories could define playoff positioning and momentum. Ultimately, Golden State finds itself at a pivotal moment. The roster has incredible talent, including all-star caliber guards, emerging G League stars, and defensive anchors, but the balance between positions is tenuous. Front-court vulnerabilities, the need for interior presence, and the integration of rising players all demand careful management. The Warriors have opportunities to climb the standings and make a push toward playoff positioning, but achieving that goal requires timely action and strategic foresight. The combination of current roster dynamics, statistical realities, and the competitive Western Conference environment creates a situation where every decision matters, and the next few weeks will likely define the trajectory of the season. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Whispers have been echoing through the league, growing louder by the hour, and now an unexpected tremor is shaking the entire basketball world. Stephen Curry might be on his way out of the Golden State Warriors. What began as a vague murmur in corridors and late-night conversations has quickly turned into one of the most astonishing rumors in recent memory. It's the kind of talk that feels impossible, almost sacrilegious, yet insiders insist the noise is real enough to make people uneasy. Curry has long been considered the face of the franchise, the heartbeat of an era, the icon who transformed the way the game is played. Seeing his name tied to the possibility of leaving the only team he has ever suited up for has ignited a storm of speculation. Around training facilities, front offices, and even in rival locker rooms, people are trying to understand what could be pushing this story forward. Some claim tensions behind the scenes have simmered longer than expected. Others whisper about shifting priorities, a new vision that no longer matches what Curry has fought to build. And then there are those who believe all this is nothing more than strategic maneuvering, an echo designed to put pressure in the right places. Still, the rumor refuses to die. The idea of Curry stepping away from the franchise that shaped him, and that he in turn reshaped, feels like a shockwave waiting to erupt. Fans are split between disbelief and dread, scanning every gesture, every cryptic quote, every subtle sign as if decoding hidden messages. Even rival teams have begun circling cautiously, wondering if this could somehow, impossibly, become an opportunity. No one knows how deep the truth runs, but the uncertainty alone has created a strange, electric tension. It's the type of story that spreads on its own, fueled by curiosity, fear, and the undeniable possibility that even legends might eventually seek a new chapter. Whether this is just smoke or the beginning of something far bigger, one thing is certain. The basketball world is holding its breath, waiting for clarity and hoping the unthinkable isn't quietly unfolding behind closed doors. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.